Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 36 in the book of John. Beautiful morning this morning. Today is going to be about being detained by the Sabbath Police. So there's a man who gets healed at the pool of Bethesda, and the people around him, the Jews, end up yelling at Jesus. They're criticizing someone who was an invalid for 38 years. Yesterday Jesus asked him, do you want to be healed? He basically says, oh yes, but what if you're healed on an inconvenient day? That's the big question for today, which is, ironically, it's the Sabbath. So let me pick up the story, and this is John chapter 5 and verse 8. Read with me. Jesus said to him, get up, take up your bed and walk. And at once the man was healed. And he took up his bed and walked. Now that day was the Sabbath. So the Jews said to the man who had been healed, it is the Sabbath, and it is not lawful for you to take up your bed. So Jesus tells the man three things: get up, take up, and get going. Now 2/3 of those things are allowed, which is get up and get going. But take up, that's doing work, and that's not allowed. It's the biggest story of missing the forest for the trees, where you have this 38-year invalid. And their question after he is healed is, hey, what day of the week is it? And if it's the Sabbath, it can't be allowed. And further, if it's not allowed, it must be evil or something, there must be something fishy about it. So if this is done on the Sabbath and against the rules of the Sabbath, it has to be evil. So it's not lawful for you to do what he said, take up your bed. So looming here is being overshadowed by the Lord of the Sabbath. He's the maker of time, the maker of days, the maker of sunsets, the maker of sunrises, the maker of creation, and the definer of what's holy and what's not. So of note, the attack of these self-perceived Jews is like the response of the Sabbath police. All right, so let's turn our attention to the healee now. But he answered him, the man who healed me, the man who said to me, take up your bed and walk. They asked him, who is the man that said to you, take up your bed and walk? Now the man who had been healed did not know who it was, for Jesus had withdrawn, as there was a crowd in the place. So he's the one that's kind of detained by the Sabbath police, and they say to the healee, it's not lawful for you to take up your bed, but the man who healed me, that man said to do it, take up your bed. And the Jews wanted to know, who is this man? Who is Jesus? Where is he? And it's a great question of, why do you want to know? Do you want to know who Jesus is so you can yell at him? Or do you want to know so that you can go and worship him? It reminds me of the wise men in Matthew chapter 2. This is verse 1. Now after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, saying, where is he who has been born of the king of the Jews? For we saw his star, and when it rose, and have come to worship him. So they wanted to know, where is he? We saw the markers, we saw the signs, and we've come to worship. So they have this great response. Not in this particular story. They're not saying, we want to come and worship him. And they're really they're accusing Jesus and saying, hey, who has the audacity to do this healing? Where is he? Because he's in trouble. The guy that did this is in trouble. We're here to rebuke, chastise, punish this guy for the healing. And the officials would have punished Jesus for the healing, rather than the right response from them would have been, hey, I see what you've done, Lord. We turn to you, we thanks, and we give worship. All right, verse 14. Afterwards, Jesus found him in the temple. It's my favorite part of the whole story. And said to him, this is the healed guy now going to the temple, and Jesus, knowing that he was there, goes to meet him in the temple. And Jesus says to him, see, you are well. Sin no more, that nothing worse may happen to you. The man went away and told the Jews that it was Jesus who healed him. And this is why the Jews were persecuting Jesus, because he was doing these things on the Sabbath. My Father is working until now, and I am working. So the right answer is, where do we find the healing? In the temple. Fantastic. He's like saying to himself, I'm not sure exactly what happened here or even who happened to me, but this I know, this is above my pay grade and I owe him something. So I'm going to go to the temple When? Now, right afterwards. I've had the encounter with someone great, someone powerful, someone good, someone in charge. And you're going to find me in time like this in the temple. So I don't fully know what happened, but I'll be in the temple. So let me draw some conclusions here. If you encountered Jesus in some special way, head to the temple of thanks, the temple of sacrifice. And the sacrifice means it's supposed to cost you something. A temple of giving, a temple of service, and a temple of other people. So yes, the healing happens only to you. So your spiritual life kind of is lived solo in some ways, but it's not just yours. It's to be shared with the people of God. It becomes a community event. So, how I wish for you, dear podcast listener, a community of people for you to share your spiritual joys and spiritual needs and prayers. So I learned the other day that my church has 60 shut-ins. Now, here's the definition of a shut-in, is that their only wish is that they wouldn't be shut in, that they would be able to go to the house of the Lord on a Sunday morning and worship. It's a definition of someone who would like to be anywhere where they are, and they want to be in the house of the Lord. So go and serve and give and worship. That this would be your first desire on a Saturday night, your first response, not, hey, maybe I'll go to church if I feel like it in the morning, but hey, I cannot wait. Wild horses couldn't hold me back. I hope for you, like the guy who was healed in the story, I hope that your first inclination is, hey, let's go to the temple. Let's go to the house of the Lord. Thanks for listening.